I finally got my copy of Ocarina of Time back. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to play through it and boost my memory of everything that's in the game. However, I do have a few corrections to my previous video.
1. It's called the Kokairai sword, not the Kokairai dagger. I have no idea where I got the dagger from, as it's actually called the Kokairai sword right there in the book. 2. The item that is used with the slingshot is a Deku seed, not a Deku nut. That, however, does not change the fact that Goma was defeated by a single attack.
There are probably a bunch of other screw-ups that I made, but let's just move on to Volume 2.
We're once again looking at the cover. Link is standing in front of a background that has some Photoshop effects applied to it, and then there is Link. The hat just bugs me. I looked over the official artwork and it goes from either his mid-back to his waist depending on the picture. It never was that long. It's almost like Link is overcompensating for something. The Triforce is still red, at least they're consistent. On the back cover, apparently the Triforce of Wisdom has space manipulation powers that I don't know about. It must have been in those CDI games. Zelda uses it to make part of her dress appear torn off, and have part of it floating beside her. Either that or someone doesn't know how to use the magic wand tool in Photoshop. Well, at least the Ocarina of Time is the proper color this time. After completing his training, Link begins his journey to find the remaining sages.
You might want to go back to Kakariko Village then, Link.
Meanwhile, Ganondorf continues looking for Princess Zelda and plotting to capture Link with the aid of the witches known as Twin Rova.
Capture? What? No! Ganondorf is trying to kill Link!
I'm moving on to the brief author notes in Volume 2 for 3 reasons. The first, it allows me to be lazy and use game footage. The second, it becomes important in the Four Swords volumes. They talk about having a multiplayer match in Smash Bros. With all the characters as Link and controlled by computer opponents. Blue Link appears cruel, purple is calm, and red seems passionate to them. The third reason was that Pokemon Adventures Volume 13 had the author's notes edited to talk about Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I'm just rather surprised that it was kept as the original Smash Bros. Instead of being changed to Smash Bros. Brawl. There is also a small blurb about the game. Unfortunately, it's only 2 sentences long and it sucks. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was developed for the Nintendo 64 game platform and originally released in 1996.
It was released in 1998, you dumbasses. You can't even do a basic Google search to get the correct date.
And how do you make this worse? You go back to Volume 1, check that page, and notice that they got it correct there. So apparently someone can't even copy and paste correctly. Also, Nintendo 64 game platform? That just sounds really weird to me. Maybe I'm just too used to game system or entertainment system. As part of the Legend of Zelda series of games.
Just in case you couldn't tell from the title.
Ocarina of Time became a huge success, selling over 7 million units worldwide and winning several industry awards. You know, 7 million isn't exactly all that impressive, or what I'd call a huge success anymore. Mario Kart Wii has quadrupled that at 28 million units sold as of April of 2011, and isn't 7 million units what some games do at launch? 7 million in lifetime sales just seems a bit lacking. Volume 2 begins with Ingo begging Ganondorf to forgive him. The Twin Rova brainwash Ingo into betraying the Hero of Time. Considering Ingo never seemed like he was on the Hero of Time's side, was nowhere near Kakariko Village when Link got Epona, and in the game was loyal to Ganondorf since Ganondorf gave him control over the ranch, this seems incredibly pointless. Also, going by Ganondorf's dialogue, it seems like he doesn't know about the Twin Rova's brainwashing abilities. Sure, the real reason is to explain to the audience what is actually happening, but this doesn't work with Ganondorf for several reasons. 1. In the game, at least one Gerudo is brainwashed and was previously opposing Ganondorf. 2. The Twin Rova are Ganondorf's adoptive mothers. 3. They are his soldiers, and he should know about their capabilities to effectively use them in battle. Sheik also informs us that off-panel, Link has sequence braked and Impa has awakened as the Sage of Shadow. So, Ingo sets a trap for Link by kidnapping Malon. There is only 2 reasons why I think this chapter was made. Since Link already has the reward for that side quest, it was so that they could draw Epona jumping over the gate. The second reason is to question who Sheik is and where her loyalties lie. If I was going into this manga completely blind, I might have liked this chapter much more. But this was released in North America in 2008, 10 years after the game was originally released, plus Sheik had 2 appearances in Smash Bros. And this twist was used in at least one other Zelda game since. It's really hard for me to even believe that Sheik's true identity used to be a plot twist, even though I was there. Back to the story. Link saves Malon using the hookshot. Navi apparently wasn't there when Link was doing the grave robbing, as she needs to be reminded what it is and when Link got it. Off panel, of course. So Link saves the ranch, Epona jumps over the fence, and Link says he'll be back because Lon Lon milk makes him strong.
Congratulations!
Link also wonders who is the Sheik.
And I'm wondering who is the proofreader.
Sheik had told Link that Zelda was rumored to have been seen at the Haunted Wasteland, so he decides to go there next, at least according to the narration and the art. He actually goes to Zora's domain and the Water Temple first. Also, the Zora's tunic is capable of allowing Link to talk while underwater. Since there is only so many ways I can say and Link beats the boss by using only one attack, I'll replace it with and Link beats the boss by using the hookshot, and he clearly refers to it as the hookshot. The item gained in the Water Temple is the long shot, and it replaces the hookshot. So Link goes to the desert and he gains a completely awesome cloak. He gets advice from two fortune tellers who are the Twin Rova in disguise, so Link travels in the desert and is almost buried in a sandstorm. Sheik saves him once again and Link talks to the Sheikah. I've always wondered, why do you cover your face?
It's a disguise, you moron.
This is one of the things that I can't remember if it was in the game. With both Ganondorf and Link, Sheik has explained that the royal family betrayed the Sheikah, and the exact specifics aren't explained. Link also talks about the 7 years that he lost. During this last volume, there was a scene involving Mido crying and wanting Link the Kokairai to come back. His journey to the outside world had changed him to the point that he was unrecognizable to his childhood friends, and in many ways it is a parallel to Sheik. He doesn't recognize who Sheik really is. There is also a bit of dialogue that comes from Link that is just annoying. I realized that they were going for a bit of irony with Link talking about being uneasy meeting Zelda, and if I was going into this blind, it probably would go over my head. But with every instance, I just wonder how much longer it will take Princess Zelda to actually appear, so no more of these awkward lines can be said. During the night in the Haunted Wasteland, Link is troubled by phantoms that take the form of things in his heart, including a disembodied head that repeats his name. Long story short, Link is captured.
So that's what the capture on the back cover is referring to, the game's second mandatory stealth sequence.
Nabooru is brainwashed, but Link snaps her out of it. Sheik betrays Ganondorf, or rather says she was never with them, hurts one of the Twin Rova, and with Nabooru helping them, Sheik and Link escape to the Spirit Temple where Sheik's identity is revealed.
And it's about time, too.
In the game, Sheik transforming into Princess Zelda happened after Link awakened all of the sages. The Twin Rova see Sheik using the power of Down B and give chase. And yes, the Twin Rova are always referred to as the Twin Rova, their title, not their actual names, Kotake and Koume. The only exception is here where they call each other sister, but shouldn't they be calling each other by their names like they did in the game? Two of their lines reference what they said before their boss battle. Koume's line is decent, although slightly modified. Kotake's line, on the other hand, "I'll freeze your soul with my spirit energy." For comparison, the line from the game is, "With my frost I will freeze him to his soul." The two witches fire magic at Zelda and Link, trying to kill them. They are cornered and Koume tries to burn them to death until Nabooru throws Link the mirror shield. Sadly, the Twin Rova fusion doesn't appear, although you get to see two old ladies burned to death. I have no idea how Koume's fire is burning her, so we'll just continue onwards. Princess Zelda explains that to hide from Ganondorf, she became a boy and sealed away the memories of Princess Zelda. Impa originally objected, but eventually decides to go along with Princess Zelda's plan. "Thank you, Impa, for letting me have my way!"
Alternatively, you could have gone to Burger King.
Impa also says that she's proud of Zelda's wisdom. However, Zelda's wisdom is nothing more than keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Link also says that, "It's too bad I'll never see Sheik again."
Oh, don't worry about that, Link. Aonuma has in fact confirmed that Super Smash Bros. Melee is in the Zelda canon. I'm pretty sure he's insane.
After the exposition is done, she is immediately captured. Nabooru and Link attack Ganondorf's castle, and Redead make their appearance. Thankfully, I didn't plan on sleeping tonight anyways. Strangely, they are more concerned about how they are going to cross the lake full of lava rather than getting to the castle floating about 50 feet in the air. Nabooru then awakens as the Sage of Spirit. Also, the sages are jerks. The bridges that they make starts at what appears to be a 90-degree angle. How do they expect Link to get into Ganon's castle? Somehow, he climbs up the bridge and storms Ganon's castle. The entire final dungeon is reduced to one page.
I know I shouldn't be surprised considering how they've handled the dungeon so far, but I'd expect something more from the final dungeon other than it just looks intimidating.
Also, is it just me, or does the L in this sound effect look like it was added in at the last second? Link barges into the room where Ganondorf is waiting. I really love that they kept Ganondorf playing the organ. And they begin to fight. During their banter, Ganondorf says that his one mistake was letting Link escape 7 years ago.
No, Ganondorf, you don't even know the reason why you have the Triforce of Power right now. Link was the only one who could open the door to the Sacred Realm. If you tried to open the door to the Sacred Realm, you would have been killed by the Master Sword. In fact, if I'm remembering correctly from the game, the only reason Ganondorf kept Link alive was because he knew that Link had the keys to the Sacred Realm.
Ganondorf is slayed, and in a last-ditch effort to kill Link and Zelda, he brings down the castle. The escape sequence from the game is reduced to 1 page, if you're generous, 2 panels if you're not. Somehow, the castle is actually able to create a perfectly flat platform for the final battle.
Yeah, that bugged me in the game too. At least there you could blame it on system limitations.
Here it is as though the floating land consumed the castle and the place is as flat as Final Destination. Ganondorf is still alive and transforms into Ganon, and the final battle takes place. I'm really disappointed that they didn't keep the boss subtitles beyond Goma. Reaching the end of the game and just seeing Ganon was incredibly powerful. So yeah, Link wins and Ganondorf is sealed away in eternal darkness.
Ganondorf starring in an Eternal Darkness sequel? When can I pre-order?
The story ends with Zelda sending Link back 7 years and they live happily ever after.
Or do they?
Well, Zelda created the split timeline and has effectively removed the Hero of Time from existence. Young Link goes into the direct sequel, Majora's Mask, and in the other timeline, Ganondorf eventually breaks free and forces the gods to flood Hyrule. Also, about the Deku Tree Sprout not having an appearance, I lied. It gets a single panel just before the end.
There are also 2 original bonus stories.
The first one is a prequel story. It involves a Deku festival in the forest. Link and Saria go into the Lost Woods to try and find a stolen mask, and fight against a cursed tree. Mido apparently believes that they will be attacked by a wild Gengar, and he should rescue them. Essentially, it ends with the Skull Kid getting the Skull Mask in reference to the Happy Masks shop side quest. The second story takes place when Link is an adult. He finds a child from the Watatara tribe, a bird-like species. Of course, this was written before Wind Waker and the Rito tribe existed, and those mortal sins against humanity in Twilight Princess. And basically, Link tries to get him to fly. Otherwise, he's a bratty kid and someone needs to smack him. Personally, I recommend Crystal's mother, but Viz will never let that fly. The one plus is seeing the Running Man finally being outrun by a tornado.
If only he was a second faster.
The first volume was good, I enjoyed it. The second volume was still enjoyable, however it didn't live up to the first. The same problems such as pacing and taking down the bosses with one attack still exists here. I think what drags down this one further is Ganondorf. He gets a few additional lines from what he had in the game, but those few lines paint him as someone who doesn't even know what his minions' capabilities are. Or in the worst case, doesn't even know why he currently has the Triforce of Power, and appears that he just managed to take over Hyrule due to sheer luck. The removal of the Shadow Temple was also disappointing to me. With Sheik talking about how the royal family betrayed the Sheikah, we could have seen the Shadow Temple and possibly gotten more of their version of the story. Items are used only in a few panels before vanishing. Perhaps the most notable is the Ocarina of Time, which, despite being the object in the title, is only used 5 times in the entire story. And then there is Sheik. I like the expanded role that she has, but this has more to do with the timing. With this being released in North America 10 years after the game was released and 7 years after Nintendo decided to stop caring that it was a plot twist, all of the foreshadowing that Sheik is Princess Zelda comes across as annoying.
Well, let's hope the next 8 volumes of the Himekawa Zelda is this good. Speaking of 8, guess what's next? Oh, don't worry about that, Link. Aonuma has in fact